Hello and welcome to Nolo Time. This is episode 127. My name is Hovid Velez, and with me, still safe, is Mr. Joel Young.
That's right, guys. What's good? Yes, I'm happy to say I'm well. I'm good. Obed, you look good, buddy. We're social distancing here. We're doing this thing over the internets, which is what we've always done.
Yeah,
But no, we're good, man.
yeah, my beard's getting a little grizzly. I don't think I'm gonna do away with it
You should
until
just grow an apocalypse beard, man.
yes, that's what I told the wife.
I
And
mean, I can't get a haircut. I was supposed to get a haircut. I can't get a haircut, so you know what, man? I'm just gonna grow the long locks and keep the beard and just
yeah.
I'll come back with the apocalypse look. That just I
See,
don't
I've
know,
seen
man.
the thing is that with me, if I don't cut it, then I look like a weird Wolverine with like hair on the side, just going like this,
Hey,
just going
Wolverines, what's up?
sideways and no hair on top. So it's gonna be weird. I should have done what Gary Whitta did a
Oh
few weeks ago. I don't know if you
yeah,
saw him.
yeah.
It's like went to the barber shop, just shave the whole thing off. That's for the apocalypse. But yeah, I'm planning to not touch the beard until at least the end of May. So 2 more months.
Oh
We'll
man, we
see.
see.
We'll get that big Kratos beard going on. Yeah, Joe, what's up, man? How have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been holding out pretty good. I finished catching up on Stranger Things.
Okay,
So that was pretty cool
want to talk
to finish
about
it
it?
out. Yeah, I could talk about it for
Okay.
sure. I think
Spoiler alert.
spoiler, it's
Just
been out for a
put it out there.
while.
Yeah.
But
Um.
yeah, I mean, I think I like season 2 a little more than season 3. It's still season 1's still my favorite, but it's not that it's like
Yeah.
like 9-day difference or anything. I just think just generally I liked a little bit more season 2 than 3. The thing with 3 is they kind of repeated tropes like 3 seasons in a row. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, but the Russian stuff that was new, that was pretty cool. Like that stuff I was really
Yes.
into with the ice cream ahoy or whatever like thing that was going on
That
there, and
was
them going
good.
in the elevator. Like I liked that arc, but then the other arc of the others, I was like,
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Overall, I think that the dynamic is really good. The all the characters have really good chemistry.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of Billy as like the a pseudo villain?
So I like it. I personally, because I'm to be honest, when they started going into like his background and whatnot, like they did it in the end of season 2. They had a little bit of it where
I think it
he
was,
gets a
yeah.
little bit of a flat, well, not a flashback, but like you see like how his dad treats him and whatever, and like you see how there's obviously hints that he's had a pretty bad past with his father and how it's a blended family, and then in this season
And
where
then
they have the flashbacks.
there's the Death Stranding thing in the beach. Like,
Yeah.
remember the beach? Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's like yeah.
So I'm like watching all this and I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to really like make that relevant, or else like it's just you trying to make me feel things for this guy where I'm like, okay, sure. Like to me, like when you try and sympathize with a bad guy, I'm like, it can be done well or not. And it
Yeah.
was one of those things that I was just waiting to see the payoff, and it did come back pretty well at the end
It
with
was,
that
yeah.
moment that you're saying where she says like, "Hey, she the dress and the shoes and the hat or the ribbon." Okay,
Yeah.
like it had to pay off, and it did. Because I was getting concerned at first. I was like, why do I need to know his background? I don't really care. But if it pays off, it does, and it
Yeah.
did. So it was interesting. I don't know necessarily I would like to see anything beyond that because I mean he can't really, right?
He's
I mean
pretty much dead, yeah.
pretty dead,
Yeah.
so
There were I don't know the name of the actor, but there were rumors that they were gonna that Marvel was trying to get him into the MCU
he would be
somewhere.
great. Yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely was a solid actor, and
Yeah.
I mean I was I was watching some of his scenes and I was like it was reminding me of you ever seen Glass? Did you ever see that movie Glass
I
with
have not, no.
James McAvoy? That's right. So I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, this guy's the beast right here. Like when he started going on in some scenes in there and they locked
Yeah.
him in the room, whatever. Like this is
Oh,
some
and Long in
Glass
the
stuff
Room,
right here.
yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Like you can tell that it's like a super like it went from being more of a supernatural thing to more of a sci-fi thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
as it went along. Uh,
Science testing,
yeah,
space dimensions, those kind of
yeah,
things.
exactly. Like alternate dimensions and all that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was cool. Like it's good. I can't. I read something. I think it was this morning about of course everything's getting delayed. We'll get into that again. Um, but production's been delayed, of course, for season four, and they're saying that how the delay is actually giving them time to do what their vision was for this
Oh,
season.
cool.
So they were able to move stuff around, and I guess that they're gonna go ahead and go with their full vision for what season four is. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and I'm
Yeah, I
sure
mean
I'm sure
that
we'll get
teaser came out. You saw with
yeah
this guy in Russia, right? Still
yeah with
alive.
yeah with Hopper, and I'm sure we'll get a spinoff of that series
Yeah,
pretty soon.
possibly. Yeah.
I know that some of the kids already are out there doing their own solo thing. Um, but I think that this series is probably gonna get a spin-off, and it's gonna be very interesting when that
Yeah.
happens. And I'm still probably gonna watch it because it's pretty good. I liked it. I liked it a lot, man.
It's one of
Um,
Netflix's stronger properties.
yeah, and I can watch it now that I don't necessarily feel old, but
Oh,
but I do
sure.
feel nostalgic about
Yeah.
the 80s and
And
just
they do it
going
so
back.
well.
Yes, it's so I was in the 80s, Joe. I can
There he
I
was.
I can tell you
Tell me
that
about this.
it is very, very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. It's very good to see. So
Nice.
basically, like this is like my Back to the Future, right? When Back to the Future came out in
Back to the
'85,
Future's in the show. Yeah, and
yeah, when Back to the Future came out in '85, um, you know, kids from the '50s, that was their thing. It was like, oh, I remember when things in the '50s were like this when we were in school. So it's kind of like that, right? Although I mean, I was younger in the '80s, uh, but I was around, and I can say that yeah, it's very accurate. It's very well done. So
it's awesome.
yeah, so I'm happy to see that. So that was one of the things that grabbed me towards that show. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, like aside from that, I also went out and got two games for my Switch. I got Super Monkey Ball Blitz HD, so that's Super Monkey Ball basically remastered, and then also picked up Mario Party, Super Mario Party for Switch. I have not played touched that one yet. I did touch Monkey Ball really quick. Man, I love it. I love it. The music and the
That was
Japanese
good.
music and all. Yeah, it's great. And just challenging. Like
Yeah.
the controls are so simple. There's not you can hand it to a child and say press this to do this and that to do that,
Yep.
but it's more of the just the level of challenge and the way your processes and your strategy and your IQ. Like it's crazy you're talking about this stuff for a monkeys in a ball, but that's what the best thing about these games, right? It's such a great it's a
Yeah.
great time. But yeah, I'm a fan of the remastered. I look forward to playing more this weekend and probably Mario Party. I'll probably jump into this weekend. So
Fallen Order,
yeah.
Joe.
And Fallen Order. I gotta finish Fallen Order.
We gotta
I'm halfway there, so I might as well finish it out, right? I
yeah,
got plenty of time.
we got plenty of time to do a spoiler cast on it because there's like no
True.
news. Well, today we have quite a bit of news,
I
but
got some good stuff.
yeah, but it's been slow. So yeah, we should
It's
plan
true.
for that spoiler cast when the time comes
For
for
sure.
sure, man. Yeah, not much on my end, man. Oh, big thing on my end. Two things. I don't know if I mentioned it last episode. I finished Castlevania on Netflix.
Okay.
I have finished it last week already, but I forgot to mention it again. Really good. This season's a slow burn for sure. Um, there's a lot of setup, and it pays off. It's brutal. It's great. That's a really good show. I'm wondering where season I guess four will go. That it got renewed for a season four, because now we're getting into one of the PS2 games that came out, Curse of Darkness. So now we're getting into that sort of territory. So I'm wondering how they're gonna handle that, and where it's gonna go from there, right? Because I know at some point we're gonna have to see Simon and Richter and all these guys that come in the future. So, but yeah, very good. And also, I finished Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, I'm looking
Finally.
forward to hearing this. Tell
All
us
right.
about this, man.
So, Death Stranding, a game that has polarized uh, the audience. Flat out, the IGN reviews wrong. That game is not a 6.8 or whatever they gave it. That game is at least an 8. To me, it went from an 8 to a 9 because of the ending. That
Wow.
ending was strong, dude. It was so good that yeah, I mean it's a 3-hour ending basically, right? Like it's a 3-hour movie, but they didn't do Kojima didn't do make the same mistake he made on the ending for MGS4, where MGS4 is an hour and a half long, and you're just watching stuff. Here it's like you got 20 minutes on a cutscene, play for 10 minutes, do something in the game, and then they'll give you another 20-minute cutscene. So basically, that's how it went. Yeah, man, tears, because it was freaking great, bro. It was great. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it. Not gonna go into it. But the game is fantastic. It's again, it's something that what I love about it is that it is different from any other thing that I've ever played.
Hmm.
It's great. It's great. Um, so just blending some of the action. The action's a little bit clunky because I don't think action or combat per se was really the focus of the game. The game of the focus was basically the traversal and basically your journey from point A to point B when you're doing your deliveries. So that was where I think most of the thought process for the gameplay went to. So the combat it is a little bit clunky, but man, that story is so good. And you know what's great about it, Joel, is that he didn't go full MGS. I was like, why are these things happening? I don't know. Like they really took their time and explain this is happening because I am this person, and that means that I am this. That. So they were very
Ooh,
clear. It's a very sci-fi, very interstellar sort of thing that they have going on.
nice.
But very good, very very good. It reminded me a lot of. Um, I don't want to say the end of Evangelion because the end of Evangelion it was like downright depressing. Um, this was definitely a lot more like you have something to look forward to, so we need to make this happen sort of thing. So it was great, fantastic. Can't say enough good things about it. um am I gonna go back and try to finish up some of the things? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of stuff happening. RE3 comes out tomorrow, very timely. And I don't know if you saw the reviews for Persona, Joe, for Persona 5 Royal.
Yes.
Gotten like tens everywhere. So I am very close to making that purchase. And because everything's gonna get delayed for the rest of the year,
Yeah, you might as
I might as well have a 130-hour game for me to enjoy. But I'm looking forward to RE3, and I'm probably not gonna start that anytime soon because Final Fantasy comes out next week. So I'm gonna probably spend most of my time on that
Mhm.
afterwards. But yeah, man, things are happening, at
That's
least for
awesome.
now. So if you're looking forward to watching any movie from Sony this year,
Ooh,
good luck because everything got delayed till next year, except Venom, that is still on track
it's true.
for an October release. But Ghostbusters was moved from June to March, if I'm not wrong, right, Joel?
It was.
Yes. And then Morbius got moved from July to TBD or summer next year.
I'm not sure. Oh no, they're both next year. Morbius and Ghostbusters are both next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you're looking forward to Ghostbusters, unfortunately, you'll have to wait another year. If you're looking, if you're one of the 5 people that were looking forward to Morbius, you have to wait until next year. I think that movie is going to be okay, from what I've seen.
So I'm trying to remember. I think it's Shang-Chi, if I remember right, is the February 2021 movie, if I
Yep.
remember right. So, because what I was reading was that it's basically now going to be put between, it's going to come up. Forbes put an article out how it's coming up basically between the first Marvel film of 2021 and then Fast and Furious that comes out April. Which, side note, before I talk about this, I I was making jokes when you and I first talked about where I was like, man, these guys moved this thing all the way to a whole nother year with Fast and Furious. And
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like a joke and we all were joking about it or whatever. And now it's like these guys were smart. they put that they
They were
put
the
that
first
flag
ones.
down for next year, and they were
Yeah.
like, "That's what we're doing. We're not playing with this thing." And the same thing, of course, with the James Bond film as well, No Time to Die, being smart, putting it all the way in November, which could seem at that time like, why would you move a movie from April all the way to there? Well, geez, these guys really were smart. Um, but what I will say about putting these movies now between those between the Marvel film and between Fast and Furious is like from a financial standpoint, I don't think it doesn't hurt them nearly as much. But at the same time, I think the only movie that really needed to move that far was probably Ghostbusters. Morbius, you probably could have put it somewhere sooner, I think, just because I don't know, first of all, if it's going to tie into Venom at all, like if that's going to mess things up because Venom's not moving. And I get a really strong feeling there is. So it might be weird if that's the case. And then secondly, like to your point, if no one's really that interested in the movie, then I hate to say it like bluntly like that, but it's like, why would you move it to another place where you're expecting to get more exposure when there's not really that much anticipation to begin with? You might as well just rip that band-aid off sooner, right? Kind of like how Disney did with Onward. Obviously, the film was already out for a time, but I'm just saying, like, even if you do put something where it's partially on demand, I don't know, but I don't know if the strategy of moving it that far out is the best, because I think you might as well give Ghostbusters as much time. If you can give Ghostbusters 2 months, I don't know, the movie could be a surprise hit, dude. I mean, the trailer wasn't that bad, so it was
A
a
lot of
pretty
people were
great
looking
show.
forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, that one that needs the space, not really Morbius.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think it's gonna do. I think it's gonna do fine because I don't think there's a lot of hype around Chang-Chi. Like that's
But it's a Marvel Studios film,
it's a
dude.
it's
You never sleep on those things. Freaking Ant-Man, dude. Like
uh,
you don't never
like
sleep on
even
a Marvel Studios film, dude.
even I, dude, I don't even know what Chang-Chi looks like.
I know. Well, I think that's the best part, right? It's mystery.
Oh,
Guardians of the
oh,
Galaxy, all these kinds of things,
oh
man.
man. See, I knew Rocket and Groot
Yeah, yeah.
and this guy's, but yeah.
There's a lot of mystery, and of course, the Ten Rings and the Mandarin's gonna be in the movie, dude. So it's gonna be a crazy
Okay.
movie.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, if you're looking forward to this movies, unfortunately, like most of the movies for the rest of this year, they've been pushed
They're
back.
gone.
We still don't have a date for Mulan, Black Widow, and what else from Disney got pushed? Mulan, Black Widow. There's something else that got
Did the
delayed.
other Pixar Soul movie get pushed? Did that get moved? I don't know
I
what that was even scheduled
don't
for.
know.
I know it
I
was
thought that was next year. I don't know.
I
Or
thought that
was it
was
this year?
this. I thought I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about. However, the two ones being, of course, Mulan and Black Widow. Those are two big question marks. Like there was a. I'm not going to acknowledge who they are because I just don't know. But like there was an alleged report by an individual on Twitter that she's a YouTuber, and she reviews films and also sometimes gets some stories, but she put out a statement saying that she has sources close to Disney saying that they're considering putting Mulan and Black Widow straight to Disney Plus. And I'm not saying it's not true because anything can happen. I mean, but like I'll believe it when I see it. Like it doesn't seem like the smart move considering that you're talking about two multi-million-dollar productions. Like why
Yeah.
would you just Fast and Furious and wait it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
That's.
mean, for that, let's put it this way: they would first put New Mutants on demand before they would put
Oh
Mulan
yeah.
or Black Widow. So if that's not happening, then why would they do that with those? Is what I'm saying.
That's right. That was the other one. Yeah. So New Mutants, that's never coming out. So
No, it's dead.
based on Joe, uh, that's probably gonna end up in like Hulu or something. Because
The dollar
might
bin
as well. I
hoard.
mean, Disney didn't pay for the movie. The movie was already canned when they bought Fox, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they can just put it on Hulu. It's fine, whatever. But yeah, I mean, Mulan and definitely Black Widow are especially Black Widow after that last trailer that was really good.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
point.
So that's a total bummer there, but I'm sure that they'll it's Disney, they have enough pull on the movie theaters, so I'm
Hmm.
sure that once this entire stuff is figured out, it'll be out. Like once they figure out a date, it's like okay, by this date this thing's gonna be good. We'll put it September, October, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like they'll just put it out. They might just wait it out and put it like over Christmas, unless
That's
it
true.
has a stinker that connects uh
Eternals.
to Eternals, and then that would be a problem. But you know, at the same time, it's
I could see Christmas. You know, you
also
bring up a good point about
yeah,
Christmas. That's a really good time frame for Disney in general.
yeah.
That's
There's no
not a bad
Star Wars
idea.
this year, so
The only other Christmas movie, the movie that got moved now to Christmas, I don't know if you saw, was this guy, Top Gun Maverick, got
yes,
moved to December
I
as
did
well.
see that. Yeah, yep. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy times.
Never saw this
Um,
coming.
no, no, definitely not. I mean, we saw it coming, but
Yeah, not to this
yeah,
level.
yeah, exactly. The just going around the same topic. Just today, it got announced that The Last of Us 2 has been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah,
Sony's saying that they have no further delays to announce at the moment, and they will keep everyone posted. But yeah, it's probably what probably was going to be the biggest game of the year now delayed TBD, which is again smart. You know, they're doing the same thing that movie theaters are doing, and if they have to release this game day and date with PS5, if PS5 comes out this year, that I mean that's a possibility. So, but the game is done, so there's nothing basically like what they had left in development was a little bit of polish, and the game was basically about to go gold, so they were done with the game already. And they are citing logistics and manufacturing issues.
yeah,
Of course, they can make the game available digitally, but it would not be fair for people that have either capped internet, slow internet, or very little access to it. So very little to no access to internet. So I can see them respecting that, and of course they probably already have deals with retailers. You know, the GameStop,
you're
they
right.
probably have deals with that, and they won't risk having the biggest game of the year just go digital only. So again, unfortunate, but you know what, they can release whenever this thing is figured out. The game is ready, and they're just waiting for production right now for manufacturing.
So selfishly, dude, like I'm kind of happy because like that's no lie. I've said it here on the show. I have not played that game in its entirety. And so, having that from the PS Plus that they gave us a while back, my hope was to play that before the new one came out to kind of see if I wanted to
Oh, you can.
pick that up suddenly. I got time now, man. So hopefully I
Yeah.
finish out Fallen Order. I can jump back into Last of Us, and
Yep.
also I was thinking about Bioshock too, of course. But Last of Us was one of the ones I was like, I knew Last of Us 2 was gonna be a big release. Big Naughty Dog fan of most of the stuff they put out. You know, the Uncharted franchise, which is also now free on PS Plus. Uncharted
Uncharted,
4
the entirety
in the
of Uncharted
entirety.
was free because they released the collection, and now Uncharted 4. I guess Lost Legacy, but yeah, I mean all the
Yeah,
Nathan Drake story is basically they gave it out for free. So
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, I actually downloaded it, The Last of Us on I have it installed on my PS4, but didn't play it. So I think I may go and check out the PS4 version because I played it on PS3. back a few months after it came out. It is an amazing game. To me, it's one of those games that it leaves such an impression on you that that you never play again. It's like near Automata. Oh, by the way, yeah, we'll put it in the docket. But
Okay.
near yeah, but when I finished near Automata, that game hit me so hard in an emotional level that I never touched it again. It's like I'm
But there's
afraid to go back and actually do stuff. I was like,
so
no, it's not.
I totally get that. Like, I don't. I know people. It sounds crazy to some people, but think about it. There's been movies before that are so good I never wanted to watch them again. Like, The Pursuit of Happiness is an amazing
Oh
movie,
yeah,
and I'm not gonna sit there. Oh, let's put The Pursuit of Happiness on tonight.
I
That's
know.
not gonna be my response.
I
Or
have it
like
on
12 Years
DVD.
a
So
Slave or something. It's like
yeah,
powerful movie. Thought it was amazing. I have
uh,
no interest in watching a second time personally, but I would recommend it to other people.
Requiem for a Dream. I don't know if you watched it.
Oh yeah,
It's a
Just-
it's one of those movies that you watch once, like that's it. I don't
yeah.
have
It's like
to
that's great, but no, I'm
I don't
done.
have to watch this again. Thank God.
That's how there are certain games that are that so good. You're like, I need to have this in my library, but I don't know if I can touch this like for a while.
Yeah. Um, that happened to me. So going back to Nier, this week, Platinum Games announced that the fourth game that they're working on is basically a lot of people are calling it a remaster, but it's probably not because it's they Platinum didn't develop the original Nier games back in PS3. This looks to be more of a reimagining of what Nier Replicant was. Nier Replicant is there's two games, Replicant and Gestalt. I, if I'm not wrong, Replicant is the one that directly connects with Automata. That's basically the prequel to it. So they said PS4, Xbox, and PC. So
Wow.
it's coming out this gen. It's not going to be a next gen game. So whatever it is, it has to be just a few months away, which is nuts. Like it's insane. Yeah, I'll probably check it out because I never played any of the original ones. I know what happens because uh, Neo Automata, it's it's so far in the future that a lot of the things are relevant, but they throughout the story they kind of like sprinkle things of what happened in the past. And I did go back after finishing Automata, and I went back and I found a really good channel on YouTube. I can't remember the name of it. I remember that it's narrated by a girl, but it was basically what happened in the Nier games back before Automata, because it was like, oh, I wanna just know what happened in the past. So um, yeah. So if you enjoyed Automata, maybe this is gonna be another one that's gonna fill that void. I'll probably get it and cry again. Like a, oh man, baby. But yeah, that game was really good. The game was really good. Same again, going back to The Last of Us. It's yeah, it that same thing happened to me with The Last of Us, where I didn't go back and play it again, because the story was so good and I closed it. And it was like reading a good book, right? You read a book, you and you finish reading it, and it's like that was an awesome book. You put it back in the shelf, and
It's fair.
that's basically it. And yeah, like what you said, like movies, it's the same thing. Not to again go back and compare it to like, you know 12 Years a Slave or something like that, but
It's
there's
heavy.
movies. Yeah, it is, and it's not necessarily the subject matter. I think that game probably will hit me harder now that I'm a father versus when I
Sure.
played it, which is crazy, but yeah. I may check it out. I may check it out. Unless I get Persona 5 Royal, because reviews are great. I may just get that for like the summertime, since I don't know when The Last of Us is gonna be out. I was not gonna buy it day one anyway, so um, we'll see on that one. Joe, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We will be back with next gen stuff, and we are back. Joel, we got some news about the Xbox One. I know that there's been a little bit more information out in the news. Of course, they talked about the that leaked Thanksgiving 2020 date that got out there that they quickly changed back to a holiday. But there was some more information on that Phil Spencer dished out over at IGN. Believe you have more info on that, sir.
Yeah, so the Unlocked show, I believe it's an IGN show that they got. They did an interview with Phil Spencer, of course, because of this situation the world finds ourselves in. It was one of those rare opportunities. You got Phil just to sit down in his home and do a live video chat talking about what they're doing with Microsoft and next gen. And he talked about a series of things, but of course the big thing was what is going to be their response to win in the console wars. And he was talking very candidly about this in the interview. And he began to talk about how um, price point's going to be very huge for them and how he really believes that they can be competitive and they really feel strongly about their ability to compete from a pricing standpoint with the other consoles on the market. Of course, related to PlayStation, Nintendo, right? But he didn't say like what he's really planning to do, but then he started to talk a little bit further beyond that quote and started talking about how like subscription based models have been really successful for things and the things that you're seeing around the world for anything. you know that's something that they're looking at for next gen consoles to continue that kind of idea of subscription based opportunities, to see how Game Pass is a great value to them. So they're trying to figure out, I guess, how to bundle something like that. Kind of seemed like he was alluding to that. But yeah, so he really strongly believes that they're going to be very close, and that he started, of course, touting the raw power of the Series X and how it's so powerful, and people who have games that they can play on either console, it's more powerful. They literally talking about how it's going to run better on their console, and I was like,
Mm,
wow, that's interesting.
mm.
Unless it overheats, but we'll find out.
Well, here's the thing,
Yeah,
right? I don't know. RE3 comes out tomorrow. Digital
sure.
Foundry did their analysis, and while the Xbox One X version of RE3 targets 4K, and the PS4 Pro version had a weird resolution. It was like a 1628, something like that. Um, the Xbox One X version, the frame rate was really bad. It was
Wow.
really, I saw that graph, man. That graph was rough. It wouldn't hit 60. It hovered around like between like 44 and 30. It was really weird too. So makes me think that there may be a bug there in the game that
Hmm.
it may be patchable.
Sure.
So but right now that's what it is. And then the PS4 Pro is was almost basically like a solid 60. So
Keeping up.
it all depends on how to use your hardware, right? Because you can call raw power, and going back to my comparison, that last comparison that I did, the between the original Xbox and the PS2, which was basically very comparable to the situation that we're in right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty candid about how they're losing the console wars. They're not looking good. And the interviewer, I don't recall his name, was pretty.
It was probably Ryan McCaffrey, because
Sounds right.
he's the one that runs Podcast Unlocked.
Sounds right. Yeah, probably was. And then he's talking about how, like, he goes, when Phil Spencer first became the head of Xbox like years ago, how like behind closed doors he told him like, look, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna Microsoft's gonna be the best thing, and Xbox is gonna be the best console there is on the market, and we're gonna win consistently, and it's gonna be great, and all this kinds of stuff. And then he said on the show, he's like, well, we clearly have had a lot of struggles since I've come into this thing, but he kept saying like it's learning opportunities, and to win, he was really stressing. He kind of went backwards. This is all after he started talking about the price points, about the 17-minute mark on the show, I remember it being. But he started talking about how like pricing's not the ultimate thing to win. Like, we've got a powerful console, we've got a great service in Game Pass. We're gonna have a good price when it comes out, and all these things come together to make us one of the best options on the market. And games are gonna run their best on here, and that's it. Like, so I mean, he's got a use this PR, because obviously Mark Cerny comes out and gives a beautifully delivered, this is our wonderful console and how beautiful it's gonna be, and speaks with the voice of an angel and
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 numbers
whatnot.
and math.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So man, I mean, it's what he's got to do, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think again, they're definitely ahead of the curve when it comes to messaging, because their messaging
Yes,
has been their communication has been constant, and their message has been clear. And they're definitely ahead of Sony on that end on the spectrum. Also, the console itself, I mean, it is an impressive piece of hardware. You know, there's
yeah,
no denying it. They really brought it. I mean, they brought it with the Xbox One X too, um, but what they're trying to do with this console is definitely a lot more. Again, when it comes to like pricing, I know that they are going to try and be competitive, but I think there's gonna be a price difference there between both of them. There was a leaked posting somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it was, where they were saying that it was Play and Trade in Canada that had posted. I mean, Play and Trade, it's a small company, you know. They do get they get shipments. I guess they're the number two retailer next to GameStop when it comes to video games. And they were saying that the listing that they got was listing the PS5 at 400. I doubt it,
that's
um,
really low.
because they would need to, like, PlayStation would need to like discontinue the original PS4, and then basically like sell the pros for like $200
Yeah,
to make it like in the entry level thing, and then go ahead have this one going at 400. That to me sounded too low. I think a 450 is viable, if you ask me. So I'm between 450 to 500 at the moment for the PS5. But for the Xbox, dude, I think I'm shooting more to like the 550 to 600. Like I'm shooting like $100
$100
more,
difference.
like a
And
hundred
is that a
dollars.
competitive price difference? I mean, it's not crazy far, but it's enough to make me go, little Billy's aunt, says, I think I'm gonna save $100.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
at this point, it doesn't matter what little Billy thinks or not, right? Um, I think again, it's gonna come down to the games. Who's gonna have the better games? Who's gonna give me the better support? We've already, if the PS5, and we'll talk about it because there's an update.
Yeah,
Um, like if I can bring my PS Plus library to PS5, then I'm sold, because I already have a library that I can use. So if that's the case, there's no reason for me to move back to Xbox, or to move to Xbox. I've never been in Xbox, but there would not be a reason for me to move. There was plenty of reasons for me to move back when the 360 was around, and the PS3, that was rough there for a while, dude. So being an early adopter of the PS3, like I was questioning my choice for a couple of months there. But at the end of the day, it paid off.
mm,
And PS4 has been solid since day one. So I mean, right now there's nothing that points to me that I shouldn't wait and get a PS5 instead of an Xbox. I think that Xbox, they're more focused on keeping their fan base, which is
it's good.
largely in the U.S. and they're the shooter guys, they're the racing guys, right? So there's the sports guys, the Madden guys, and all these guys. So I think that they're that's the audience that they're hoping to keep. So I don't see them like being a force to be reckoned with in Japan or maybe even Europe. So once I know that when we have all the final details for PS5, we can make a more educated decision. But I mean, as of right now, you know what? As of right now, I'm keeping my PS4. That's my thing right now. Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, just in general, adopting a brand new console at the launch is always a tricky decision. I personally
it's
have
always
never
iffy.
done it, but
Yeah,
I've been considering it before. Yeah, I definitely think that like to your point, there's a lot of things that are going to factor into my decision beyond just the price because you could have a price difference, but if there's quality that comes with it, and you might say, well, it's worth me forking out that extra money. It just all depends, right?
yeah.
But if it doesn't, if you are making your thing more expensive and you're not able to back it up with some enough features that entice me, then I'm going to save my money and get the stuff that I want because you didn't pull me in. So it's going to be interesting how this console war continues going into potentially later time frame. I'm not sure how this is all going to work out, man.
Yeah, maybe late this year, maybe early next year. So
Yeah.
yeah, at this point, we really don't know. But just going into PS5, Digital Foundry or Eurogamer released a new article today, or updated their article on the Mark Cerny deep dive, and they touched on a few things, but they primarily talked about um, the way that the PS5 is being built with efficiency in mind, where they paired up the CPU and the GPU in a way that heat distribution throughout the entire chip is equal, and that way they don't have GPUs go bad, because of overheating and all this stuff. So how they're focusing on that, and they're focusing on the cooling of the system, which has been an issue in the past, not necessarily an issue with the PS4. Yes, they're loud, but there's no rampant like overheating issues uh, with none of the newer consoles. I would say, because even the Xbox One, they really learned their lesson and
Yeah, yeah.
and really fixed the design on that thing versus the original 360. So um, they talked about how the transfer rate, on the hard drive affects the compute power, and how they're using the AMD's uh, man, I forgot the name of the tech. So AMD has a tech that it distributes uh, power between the CPU and the GPU. It's a tech that they use with their Ryzen chips, um, just to better distribute power. So it seems like, again, it's going to be a very well balanced machine. They talked about a little bit more in depth about the the sound chip. It's basically a custom sound chip that the PS5 will have, based on the processor of the PS4, which is nuts. It's like, if you think about it, right? It's basically the way that they put it in their analysis is basically the chip that they're using for the sound on the PS5 is basically the same as the CPU on the PS4, on the regular PS4. So it's pretty crazy. It looks like they're really pushing that sound tech really, really well. They want to make sure that people with standard TVs and surround sound systems get the best experience possible, and of course headphones. Um, and then they talked about a little bit about, just touch briefly on backwards compatibility. Um, of course, it's been clarified, and there's been some confusion, and it was
Mm.
because of the wording, but um, backwards compatibility with PS4 is baked into this console. So they purposefully created a legacy mode for the CPU where it be compatible with PS4 Pro and PS4, and some PS4 games will run on on the native mode or on PS5 mode, basically.
Hmm. Wow.
So that was where the big confusion came from, and that's where that uh, around 100 games came out from. It's around 100 games that will run on PS5 native mode, where you will get better frame rate, better better textures, better scaling, all this stuff. Um, and some game and then the rest of those games will run on legacy mode, just to avoid problems with CPU. So the CPU can scale down to those. They did not mention PS3, 2, or 1. I know that that's going to happen, but they still haven't talked about it. Um, I'm assuming that we'll hear more about this console early June, maybe, Joel, mid June, probably.
Yeah, as things start to chill out, you think that they've got to do another update.
Hopefully, yeah, maybe mid May. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because Xbox already has their foot out there. They showed the box.
Right.
They did a tear down. So they Xbox has been out there putting their stuff, and they've actually shown games run on the new hardware. So I'm assuming Sony's planning to do a similar event in the near future. I'm hoping it's sooner better than later, because of you know uh, of consumer mentality and how uh, basically word of mouth and these things run. So they should go ahead and plan that as soon as possible. In my opinion, it shouldn't be later than the second week in May, if you ask me, and then show me games in June, and then that don't show me anything else until I have the console. So basically, that's how, in my opinion, should go. But yeah, man, what do you think of the new info?
Yeah, I think that's makes sense now. Like, I'm glad you spent the time clarifying all of that. Yeah, having a legacy mode is kind of cool. I mean, like, it's. I don't think. I think it's extremely valuable to have things be able to play up to a PS5 standard, of course. So that 100 games that makes sense, right? Those ones that are capable of hitting PS5 quality types. Yeah, okay, that's cool. But I will say backwards compatibility is not my first thought is not necessarily, oh my gosh, I'm able to play this thing at the PS5. It's a game for a prior gen. So if I get it at the same way I would on another generation, just on my newest console, I think I'm happy enough as a consumer just to say, well, at least I can play my old things on this new hardware. It's kind of like when you pop a DVD into a Blu-ray player. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that you can and can't do. I get it, and I'm okay with that. Like, as long as I can still play it, I don't have to plug in the old DVD player. I
Yeah,
can just play it on my Blu-ray, but I
I
still
think
want
it's
to keep
like
my
the online
DVD.
features or
Cool.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. And we've seen like legacy mode stuff run on consoles since the Sega Genesis, when
Right.
where it has the power based converter, and you can play Sega Master System games on it. So we've seen it before, and we've seen it on. I mean, Sony has definitely taken a more unconventional approach when they did the PS2 backwards compatibility, because that was like an actual PS1 chip was in the motherboard, and then they did the same thing for the PS3, and then ended up taking it out because it cost too much money to make that custom chip for the PS2. Now they can just brute force it, so it's fine. Um, and I'm sure that at least PS1 and 2 should be backwards compatibility, no problem with PS5. Be a PS3, uh, it to me is still a concern. And I think PS3 backwards compatibility may be available on a title by title basis. Like they may have, I don't know, MGS4 and uh, the 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 Ratchet and Clank games and things that are like that are first party or a second party, kind of like what Metal Gear Solid 4 is. But we'll probably see backwards compatibility in that way on PS5. I don't think it's going to be compatible with every PS3 title, but it'll be a handful. Um, and if you're familiar with PC architecture and and programming and all this stuff, you'll know that this will take it will take a while to get it to work where they want it. Um, so it's gonna be a real struggle. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what everything is. I want to see the box. I want to see the actual controller because based on the rumors that we've had, that controller seems to be a pretty well upgraded, and I'm excited for that. So I'm curious to see what they have. I know that Xbox is gonna come out and they'll do okay. We won't see anything like super mind blowing in Xbox until maybe late next year or 2022. So be ready for that. But based on rumors, you can expect PS5 to have strong first party support from the get go. So yeah,
For sure.
yeah, very interesting stuff happening, Joel. Hopefully things can get back to normal soon, and the, Last of Us 2 can come out, and the consoles
Yeah.
can come out, and movies can come out. Uh,
Everything's on hold.
Everything's on hold. I want to get out of the house. I don't know, man. I was able to go to Target and grab me the rest of Skywalker,
Same.
the Target exclusive edition. I was actually just browsing the little booklet or the book that
Cool.
came out
Yeah.
with it today. Just browsing it today, and it's pretty good. I mean, I buy it because it's like the hard to find edition. Like after, yeah, usually like the Target editions are they're my go to. Like if I want to buy a movie special edition, I'll just go to Target and buy it because they're usually the harder to find version out there. So yeah, especially Joe. And just real quick before we go, I sent you that video about Disney and how they were treating home video back when it was a thing,
It's
right?
crazy that just reviewing over that and recognizing, I'm like, damn, I didn't look at it that way, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It just makes you think. It's like now they want their content
Right.
in your home. It's crazy that they limited uh, their content for so many years. It's a very very interesting video. If you guys are interested, it's a very good, very 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 good YouTube channel called Yesterworld. Um, so I highly recommend that channel. They had a video on the Disney Vault and the gimmick that Disney Vault was throughout the 90s, so and early 2000s. The one thing I didn't realize, Joel, is that they produced VHS tapes up until 2006.
Yeah, a long time.
That was their last VHS tape. I think it was a re-release of The Little Mermaid that they had in 2006. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, 2006. I remember back when Episode 2 came out on Star Wars Episode 2. Episode 2 didn't come out on VHS. It came out straight. It went straight to DVD. There was no VHS copy of it. Like the last Star Wars movie that came out on VHS was Episode 1, which I have the collector's edition
Wasn't
for.
there? I'm trying to remember, dude. The between the transition between VHS and DVD, were they like, was there like DVD commercials on VHSs? I believe so, where it was like, get this on DVD or something. Like right towards the end, like of that life cycle, they really started to push it. Like, I know you have a VHS right
Maybe,
now, but you need to get a DVD.
maybe they were trying to push it. It's like upgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like just go ahead and
don't
upgrade.
hold out anymore.
Yeah, I think that might have been the case. Um, because they were like the industry was making a big push for DVD. So I think that might have been the case.
Because I remember DVD to Blu-ray, that being a thing. That I know for sure. On DVDs, you got Blu-ray commercials where it was like a Warner Brothers
Yes,
spot, and it was like all these movies you can experience on
and on
Blu-ray.
high definition. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Superman
Yeah,
Returns and all that. Yeah.
yeah. I remember those because I think I have 300 on
Mm-hmm.
DVD. And I bought it on DVD because back then, when 300 came out on DVD, it only came out on DVD and HD DVD, and I had a PS3 with a Blu-ray. So Warner was still not on the Blu-ray bandwagon.
Oh man.
So it wasn't until later that they released it. But I think there's an HD DVD commercial on that DVD. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting times back then with the format wars. Now it's all online, so we're
Oh yeah,
on 4K Blu-rays here to stay, and then online. So
pretty much.
so we're good. Yeah, Joel, that's what we got for this episode. Hopefully, some more positive news can come out in the next week or so, or hopefully you can finish Jedi Fallen Order and
I
we can do
know,
a spoiler
man.
cast next week. So, but yeah, that's what we got. And if you don't mind, sir, just go ahead and plug us in.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for watching, listening to our show. Of course, stay subscribed so you can stay connected. So subscribe to our podcast version on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify. Also, make sure to subscribe to the video version here on YouTube and comment, share it. Also, go ahead and follow us on social media. So we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time. Go ahead and follow us there, and that way you get information as we keep putting out new stuff. Put a little picture out of us watching, picking up our copy of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Not a paid for ad, but just telling you guys to stay home and watch movies. But yeah, also make sure to send in emails to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Questions, comments, feedback. Tell us how you're doing during this time. And yeah, hope everyone stays safe, stay well, and we'll see you on our next episode.
Yeah, thank you guys. We will see you next time.